All right, just some things for you to keep in mind based upon adding some of your details, and then we're going to rewind a little bit for the rest of you who might want this added extra. Right now, I talked about creating one perfect window. So let's say you really like that window, it's lovely, but then I don't want to draw it 10 times. Either in Photoshop or Illustrator, you can duplicate that. So in Photoshop, all you're going to do is Control J, copy that item, and then go ahead and move it over. I would then go ahead and merge those copied items together, so let me know if you need help on that. In Illustrator, I would have to say it's even a little bit easier. You hold that Shift key as you're clicking each of them. And I'm going to go ahead and continue. You can come up to the Edit menu and you can copy it, and then you're going to go ahead and paste it. Keyboard shortcut Control-C for copy, Control-V for paste. I've just copied it. Now I'm going to Control-V, and I find that I have a whole group of windows I can use for a very fine nudging. I could use the arrow keys on my keyboard. This could also be used in another area. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this and move up. Sorry, just bear with me for a moment. I'm going to grab those guys. There's a reason why I can't grab them because I group things together, and I'll explain that to you a little bit. Just some management skills. Float right over. And then I can go ahead and add those windows in there. I could then say, oh, I used too many, or I'm going to make them skinnier now, so they don't even look the same. Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. Get those into place. Control-V to paste again, get those into place, etc. So you've got a lot of options. Don't forget, please find nudge. The more perfect your placement, the more believable all of your work is. I missed on that one. I would probably grab it and nudge it down and have a little bit better placement, okay? All of my illustrators, you will probably see the fact that I have these buildings duplicated and they're also skewed. That's to give that reflection in the water a little bit. Again, notice the cloud is above the gray building. I moved it above the gray building over here. You can duplicate this. I'm going to just show you really quick. You select your object. You're going to Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. There's your cloud. That cloud now needs to get flipped. We're going to go into Object, Transform, and then we're going to reflect it. Okay? When we reflect on the horizontal, it flips from top down or vertical from side to side. I want top down. That's where this guy goes. I can then also manipulate it and make it a little bit flattened and skinny to give a little bit of a view, which gives more of an effective look of perspective. Okay? But let's say I want to slant that object now, like I slanted the buildings. I can go into Object, Transform, and I'm going to go to this object called Shear. As I get into Shear, you're going to find that I can shear it on the horizontal or the vertical. I'm going to shear it on the horizontal, which means I'm going to skew it at 45 degrees. You can decide that's too much. I want to do 30 degrees, or I want it to be 90 degrees or 180 degrees. Whatever it is, you're going to go ahead and skew that. You can do a preview. There's a checkbox in there for preview if you need. I'll show you that. Okay, so you can see that preview, and that'll really it applied another 45 degrees. Okay, so that's a pretty cool tool. Now, if you are in Photoshop, you're going to have a very similar idea in Photoshop. When you go to Object, Transform, you're going to find the ability to skew it. So once again, when you're in Photoshop, we'll go here, Edit, Transform, and then Skew. When I'm skewing something, let me go ahead to that layer. Sorry, too many menus at once. Edit, Transform, Skew. It'll allow me to grab that item and slant it. So again, that's transferability in idea between Photoshop and Illustrator. Okay, so now as I go back to Illustrator, I'm going to cancel out of that. One more thing that I did in Illustrator that some people were asking about is potentially using what's called in here, it's called a gradient. Okay, when I create a shape, I can create whatever shape I needed, and then from there I can go ahead and I can apply a gradient. In the gradient tool, I can basically drag a line across after I select the right type of gradient. I can choose a radial, which is what I chose here, or a linear gradient. I can take that and manipulate that, see where that color is going to be mixed, get a different feel from that, okay? Now, I can change those colors in here very easily. I can add to it by clicking right below and add another value. Let's double click there. Let's say I wanted to add yellow in the yellow and brown. That's really terrible. I'm sorry, guys. Let's go to orange. We're going to go to orange. We're going to get safer here. Okay? I can grab these sliders and I can actually manipulate where they're blending to and give myself whatever that color pattern is that I need. Okay? So you can see as I grab this, I can again manipulate it a little bit more to fit whatever that object is. Again, if I move this, if I hover right over here, I can move that to vertical. I can get this guy brought down here so I get all my values. That could be your sky. Again, use this very subtly in this project. This project, again, your aim is to get some lovely illustrations that have that little bit of a blocky feel to them, have a little bit of a storybook appeal to them. So that's kind of what we're looking for when we're referring to this kind of a project. Using your skewing, using your reflecting in Photoshop, same thing goes. Let's say I want to copy this one. I want to copy that layer, Control J, and I need that reflected. I want it reflected to the right for some reason. I can edit, transform. I can flip on the horizontal or the vertical. Same exact idea as what I did over there. Flipping on the horizontal, you can see I've created that same thing, but flipped in the other direction. So again, use these tools wisely. Get some really great images in there so that we can see some really awesome stuff.